Good morning and welcome to the Elevate Renatus team call. This is your host, Keely Austin. It is Wealth Wednesday. As of right now, we have 48 participants. Make sure that you text your team. We do not want any ICMs left behind. These trainings are a fabulous way to start your morning with motivation and some really amazing action steps. I'm excited to hear from Daine Clark today. A little bit of Daine's history before Renatus. He was working two jobs. He was working for Apple, and he was also a roofer. For Apple, he was in the back. He was kind of shy. And as a roofer, he fell into that work because his dad was a roofer. And with fair skin and red hair, being in the sun all day was not Daine's cup of tea. He was barely making ends meet and started looking for other income opportunities. After finding Renatus, he plugged into the Renatus system and listened to his mentor, two simple and important keys. He applied velocity banking to pay down debt and then used his leverage as a down payment for a duplex and lived in one side of the duplex and rented out the other. Fast forward to today, Daine has now raised over $8 million from different investors to lend on various transactions. His secret to that is consistency and frequency. He has grown his team, so he's helping other people do deals and build this business. He is a PIT team member, meaning he is a President's Advisory Council member in training. He's recognized by our CEO, Bob Snyder, as a key leader, and we are so fortunate to hear from Daine this morning. Good morning, Daine.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I am doing awesome. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for that intro. And good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. Merry Christmas, just about. We're getting there. We're getting pretty close, or whatever it is this time of season is for you. Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all the stuff. I'm sorry if I missed any of them. And I do have to apologize in advance. I may have a little bit of a coughing fit, so if I do that and I go on mute really quickly because I don't want to make you guys hear that. I apologize in advance. I've been losing my voice a little bit lately, so and I had a little bit of a cough, so bear with me there. But let me go ahead and share my screen. Whoops, share my screen here. I've got some good stuff. Actually, let me go to the comments first. So, excuse me. As you all know, I love hearing from the people on the call, and I love being able to help out and be more interactive. So as we get started, let's do our usual, where I want people to come off of mute or chime in on the chat. And I want to know how many people you were able to get in front of a Renatus event in the last 7 days, whether it's a one-on-one or a group tour, like a house tour, or a one-on-one house tour, or a big group event like what we run on Thursday night here in Salt Lake City, type of a thing. So go ahead and come off and mute. And then I've got some other stuff that I'd like to go over today. So everybody prepare yourself to be coming off of mute, and let's get some support for you guys. So we'll talk about that. But go ahead and let me actually pull up my calendar, and I'm going to count up and see. Let's see, one. And if you're on the phone, just hit *6 if I remember right, and that will get you off of mute, and then that will put you excuse me, sorry, and that will put you back on mute when you're done. So while I'm counting, go ahead and somebody jump off of mute, and we can have people do that way, and then I'll jump over to the chats here in just a sec.
10.
What's up, man? 6.
Who was that
Cool.
that just came off of mute? You said 10?
Hi, that was me.
Let's celebrate you.
Roy, I just say 10.
Roy, 10. Congratulations, brother. That is awesome. Way awesome. Where are you from?
I'm from Minnesota.
Minnesota. Good job. Love to hear that.
Yeah,
Cool.
always
So
great to
Chuck,
see people come out in the cold, crazy cold. It feels like -18 right now. People are able to come out. We had a few people show up for meetings last night in this cold, so it's
yeah.
awesome. Thank you for your great encouragement and coaching.
Oh, my pleasure. I have found my calling in life. I bleed Renatus blue, baby. Okay, Chuck, great job. Chuck had one, Keely had one, and Allison had one as well. Great job. I had 6 in this last week. And watch for my goal setting session here in the next couple of weeks. I want to sit down. I've got some big goals for 2020 myself, and I would love to share what I'm doing to set my goals, to help myself achieve my goals, and help myself. You know, you might have seen me do my motivation is garbage training once. But so what I'm doing this year for 2020 is I'm helping obligate myself to reach my goals on multiple different levels. So watch for that. That'll be coming up here in the next few weeks on setting goals and breaking them down into 30-day things like that. But so yeah, we'll go there. Michael White had 2. Sandra had 1. Let's see. I hope I pronounced this right, but it's either Wojo or Woho Chi had 1. Rhonda Left had 1. Great job, guys. And if you'll excuse me for just a minute, I got a cough. I'm gonna put myself on mute. Okay, so sorry about that. All right, who else? Oh, did I get it right? Like Mojo. I love it. I love it. Cool. All right, let's see. All right, anybody else? And one thing I would love to be adding to these, to the reporting, because for me, like one of the biggest things that helped me achieve more success was that I started not only reporting my activities, or recording and reporting my activities, but also just being able to talk about what I'm doing with other people and get feedback, especially with specific people, because when it comes down to it, yes, I do have a system. Yes, I say pretty much the same thing to every single person that buys a combo from me or essentials or whatever they purchase. So yes, I've got that template, but everybody is just a little bit different, and so that template is designed to pull out some of their what do you call it? To pull out some of their own objections and concerns and things like that. And so sometimes it's awesome to be able to be like, hey, I've got this guy or I've got this lady that I'm working with, and I really care about this person, and I want them to move forward, and I can see the potential, but for some reason, whatever, and they won't do this, or I can't do that, and they can't see this. And so being able to talk about people like that and just get ideas, bounce ideas. And I bet you that we've got people on this call that could relate with this person, or I've seen somebody like this person that we can help them overcome that. And so one of the things I'd like to add as we go through on this call is people come off of mute and say, hey, I've got this person, and here's my struggle. Now, does anybody have any ideas? Because at the end of the day, we all want to make money. And the only way for us to make money is to learn how to speak like a real estate investor, and especially like someone like a real estate investor who knows how to help somebody else. And I'm not saying in real estate, but knows how to help somebody get started in this system. So got a couple of comments here. Let's see. Ever since reporting this on Wednesdays, I've stopped. Oh, that's awesome. Ever since reporting on this on Wednesdays, I've stopped reporting zeros every week, and it's almost like magic. Thank you, Keely. Leslie had 1 as well. Oh yeah, I should probably say that. Thank you for the reminder. So myself in the reporting, when I would report as 0, in fact, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do it this week. I always say I'm not gonna show you guys what my own reporting, just because I do that in a space where I have other people that we also report. And then there is income and stuff like that that is shown. But you know what? I want to show you guys. So I just shared my screen, and I'm going to come back over here, and I want to show you guys. And I'll just kind of briefly, you know, scroll through this because I don't want people to get mad at me. Whoops. But if I come in here and show you for my entire year, I have tracked every single week how many one-on-ones I did. And so you can see every single week I've got 5, 4, 7, 2, and then how much money I made that month. You know, 5, 5, 8, 9, and how much money? 5, 5, 6, 7, 0, and then how much money I made that week, or that month, I mean. Okay, and so I do this myself. Every single week I track how many one-on-ones I'm doing, and then at the end of the month I'm tracking how much money. So I can see I report my zeros when I have them. Oftentimes it's usually because I'm on vacation or something like that, but I report my zeros when I have them, and then I report that income. So I've got somebody off of mute. Do we have a question? Let's see, who do I have? Alberto Varela. I've got you off of mute. Did you have a question? Oh, just kidding. Okay. So, excuse me. Sorry about that. Jumping around. So before I get started in doing some training, do I have anybody that would like to ask some questions about somebody that they're working on, something that they're doing? And to keep it fair for everybody, let's just make sure that we keep it really focused. But let's have somebody come off and ask questions about somebody that they are working on, where we can help out and get you going. And you'll notice that as I help somebody, listen for cues that can help you as well. Yeah. So go ahead. Who do I have off of mute?
This is Michael White.
Michael White. Where are you from? Denver. Awesome. So how can we help today?
Okay. I have a friend. He's actually a childhood friend of mine who lives in the mountains now. And him and his wife, they have 2 little kids, and they just sold a condo that they had up there. So they have more money in their bank than they ever had before. And I actually invited him to a Wednesday, Five Pillars workshop on a Wednesday in Denver, and he made it down. And something got lost in translation where he thought that he had to come to the physical office to learn the education. So since then, I have reiterated that it's an online education designed for busy adults. He's just got a new job where he's going to be a lead running a greenhouse, and it's also an opportunity for him to invest in this, a marijuana growing business. And so he has this new business that he's an investor in, and I offered to show him a little bit of the education online through Zoom. So we did that last week, and now it's just how to follow up with them. I've mentioned a few times that you should get this for yourself, and he says he's excited to do that, and he knows that they need education to invest in real estate. They were like looking in Kansas, they didn't know what to do, and now he's pretty ripe to do this, and it's just how to close this strong.
Yeah. Are you a 5-star?
Yes.
Cool. So to meet with him, I imagine you will be the guy who does the one-on-one, and you'll ask for the order, stuff like that.
Yep.
Okay. My next question is, who is your 5-star?
My 5-star is Bob Tierney in Chicago.
Bob Tierney. Okay. Cool. So here's what I would do if I was you. I would talk to this gentleman. In fact, let's give this gentleman a name. What's his name?
His name is Mike as well.
Mike. Oh, cool. Mike. Okay. So with Michael Prospect, here's what I would do, just based on the things that I've heard you say, where, he came down, he had a misconception of I don't have time to drive all of that. You've been driving the fact that it's online education. I would start telling stories, to be honest, where I'd be like, I would call him up and be like, oh my gosh, I got to tell you what this guy just did. And it made me think of you. Okay. So essentially that's what you want to do, is be like, hey, I just met a guy that did this. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to tell my buddy about this. And just start telling stories that you feel like are going to resonate with him. And so after you tell him a story every single time, be like, dude, we got to meet up, man. We got to meet up. And try to get that meeting to sit down with him again. Because, he's not going to put his order in, like none of that. He's not going to do that over the phone. It's typically going to be in person. And he's got to have some more experience. And so if you look at like the drive from Woody, he came down and he saw the social aspect to it. Sounds like it didn't do a lot for him. And so it's going to be something else. It's going to be either seeing proof. So, call up one of your buddies there, or if you have a deal yourself, then call up either you or one of your buddies, say, hey, can I use your property to show to a prospect? And I would try to get your Michael Prospect to see a deal in person live, whether it's at maybe a group house store or one-on-one, but try to get him to a deal to help with that executive, if that's what he is, and show him the proof, and also be telling those stories. So regardless, like try to get that one-on-one, tell him some stories that's going to help him resonate, and then get that meeting with him, and then sit down and share with him essentially like the 3-phase plan, but customize it. If you saw my training, I think it was like 2 weeks ago or something like that, sit down and customize it with him and say, hey, what do you want? Cool. Well, here's how Mark can help you with that, and make it personal like that. Here's how Mark Kohler can help you with that. Here's how Chris Albin can help you with that goal. Here's how Garrett Gunderson can help you with that goal. In basically just like referencing all these instructors in the classes, and make it personal. Like I talk about these instructors like they're my buddies, like they are my mentors, because they are. I spent hours with each of these people watching their class, and every time I would have a chance to go to nationals and an instructor was going to be there, I'd try to touch base with them and say hi and shake their hand. So I know these guys, they might not know me, but I know these guys. So I would say do something like that with him, tell him stories, and get him to proof, and sit down with him one-on-one to ask him what he really wants. And then again, I think I shared that, I think it was 2 weeks ago, but I shared how I asked that question to get into the deep root of what they want and why. So ask him those questions, and then just share with him how our 3-phase plan of watching education and building connections can help him from the head down. Like that's, I wanted to do this as a training for a whole nother day, but essentially you want to help people from the head down. It has to start in the brain. Like people got to know how to do it, what they want to do, and then they have to be able to see it. And after they can see it, the next biggest step is needing to know how to say it. Knowing how to say it, that's when you start making money. Because when you know it and you can see it and you can say it, that's when it's in your heart. you know, and yourself included. You know, if you haven't been through your classes, continue watching your classes, continue showing up on calls like this, getting to the point where you know it, you've seen it, and you can say it from the heart. So I hope that helps, brother. And let us all know how it goes. Looks like I had a couple of comments too. Okay. Tyler Mead. And Michael, let me know if you do have any follow-up questions to that. But
I do. We do have a one-on-one scheduled for the 26th of December.
Perfect.
I'm going to bring my family up to meet his family.
Cool. Be careful with that. Whenever I bring my family over to somebody else's house and we try to talk business, sometimes it gets, you know, crossing that line between work and play. And so sometimes it gets tough, you know, when you got a bunch of kids running around and you're trying to like ask for the order essentially.
Right.
So be careful with that.
That was my challenge, is because I would like to get him started before the 26th.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, try to meet with him before if you can.
Okay.
And sit down with him one-on-one, because conducting business when there's a bunch of, you know, spouses and kids running around, you know, like imagine yourself with all the kids running around and coming up and be like, daddy, you know, do you guys have kids? I assume maybe.
Yeah. He
or
has
do they have
two
kids?
little ones and I have
Okay.
3 that are
Okay, cool.
bigger.
You know, so imagine yourself with all those kids running around, be like, daddy, look at me, whatever, you know, whatever. And then you being like, hey, Michael, let's put your order in, like, you know, plugging in their system. And, you know, I've done it before, but it's also gotten to the point where I'm trying to like put their order in and the rest of the family's like, dude, like, what's going on here? Like, you know, Daine's not like having fun. He's just trying to be a salesy, you know, whatever. You know, I thought we were up here to have fun. So
right.
It's gone both ways for me. Sometimes it was positive, sometimes it wasn't. But yeah, so get that meeting, conduct business. So cool. All right, let's help the next person. Tyler Mead. Got someone I'm working with on essentials. They don't want to do real estate right now and only want to do their business. They are working on the business they are working on and save taxes. They are not against real estate just now. I'm planning on them getting the essentials and eventually they'll upgrade. Thoughts on anything with the combo? I am going to show them the earnings plan too. All right, cool. So Tyler, when I talk with people who are less interested in the real estate, just want to start business, essentials is a perfect place because you've got stuff like the Mark Kohler, you've got stuff like the taxes and the banking and stuff, and you know all of those things are going to help. So to help a business owner in a combo setting, classes that are really going to help are going to be things like, for example, Garrett Gunderson's classes. So show him that kind of stuff, and tell him to follow Garrett Gunderson too. Like, be like, yeah, jump on Garrett Gunderson's stuff. Like he actually his $34,000 training course that he will sell you or try to sell you is in our business center. And so almost leverage Garrett Gunderson. And Garrett Gunderson even just did an interview with Grant Cardone. I can't remember how long ago it was, but he just did an interview with Grant Cardone. So Garrett Gunderson, I mean, he's becoming a bigger and badder somebody. And so when he relates Garrett Gunderson to Renatus, then he's going to be like, man, like Renatus has his $34,000 training course inside of their $20,000 package, and Renatus has all these other training packages. You know, it's like, you know, anyway. So they're gonna see someone like a Garrett Gunderson, and honestly, because he worked with Grant Cardone, Grant Cardone's gonna get looped in. Like, man, like Renatus has these guys, so. And Garrett Gunderson is obviously only in the Extreme Plus combo. And so, yes, it's going to give him a lot of value, but he, yeah, so he'll see it. He'll see that. See, I'm trying to think of other classes that will help a business owner. I mean, it does depend on his type of business. But so, for example, if I run over to my classes here and let's log into my business center, and then we'll just go to education, AIT. So let's see, classes that will help with business. Contracts. Oh, yes. Contracts would be a really good one for business because Nicole Call, I mean, she doesn't just go over stuff that's for a real estate investor. Like some of her stuff will actually be business related, just signing papers and doing business, having solid legal paperwork, stuff like that. So that's another good one. Business credit would be another good one to talk about for a business, somebody who just wants to run business. Advanced velocity banking. He does talk about some real estate stuff in there, but he'll talk about essentially business, personal, separating that and setting up your velocity banking, stuff like that. Most valuable real estate and the social media marketing stuff. I could see both of these two things being super valuable for just a straight up business owner. Let's see. Yeah, I think those are going to be ones. And so you'll notice that Renatus has absolutely packed this bonus track. I mean, look at this. It was half this big when I first joined. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Whatever 3 times 8 is, 20 some odd classes, 24 classes. In just the bonus track. When I first joined, we had less than half of that. And in my opinion, bonus track is worth 20 grand by itself from the stuff that I've learned in just that bonus track. So I hope that helps, brother. Let me know if you have follow-up questions on that, but that would be the approach that I would take. Looks like I got a follow-up question. I guess when people don't want to do real estate and only want to focus on saving taxes and paying out debt, how do you like talking to them about getting the combo? There's still a ton of value in the essentials, so nothing wrong with that. It's more automotive industry, side-by-side motorcycles. So to answer that question, it is definitely a tougher sale because Renatus, I mean, their industry is real estate investing education. So when you pitch it, I mean, it's almost like you're going against the grain a little bit because there's just going to be pieces. But you can argue and say, and Renatus actually teaches that everybody should have their one single niche. Like our investor ID class teaches everybody, like, hey, don't be a wholesaler and a commercial real estater and a land developer and a, buy and hold, whatever. Renatus teaches that we got to focus on one thing and do that very well. That's why you typically have an instructor that will teach one strategy. It's because Bob knows that person has gone after one thing, done it so well that they could go teach a class on it, right? We all want, like the goal that Renatus has for us is for all of us to go learn how to do one thing so well that even we all could be an instructor teaching the thing that we are doing, right? And so you can explain that concept to somebody and say, so not every single person buys Renatus just because it has all of this vast education. They just said, you know what, we're just going to put it all under one big hat. And for somebody to start, if you tell my story if you want. For somebody to start a multi-million-dollar business in real estate, I mean, that was worth 20 grand to me. I paid 20 grand 4 years ago. Now I have a multi-million-dollar real estate business, and I do one thing. I sell one type of cheeseburger, and that's it. And that company makes, let's see, I can't remember what the exact number is this year, but gross revenue was just about $1 million on that one thing, just selling one type of cheeseburger at the end of the day. So I still bought the whole Renatus, and I haven't watched everything, but just say, this is normal. Like a lot of people will buy Renatus because they want to learn one thing. And so Renatus says, you know what, 20 grand, and everybody comes in and does whichever part they want. Like, it's not like we're paying for all that extra stuff we're not going to use. It will be worth $20,000. So I hope that helps, brother. All right, let me go next here. Tamra Lewis. I've got a person who I've tried to invite multiple times, but they own a business and they are always running their storefront during our weekly meetings. How can I introduce them to Renatus even if they can't come? I thought of giving them a link to one of the introduction videos, but I'm not exactly sure where to find those. Cool, great question. So if I, first of all, Tamira, sorry, let us know where you are. So for example, and in fact, if somebody even knows any links to videos, if you'll do me a favor, go ahead and post links that you guys know of intro videos, and then let me talk with Tamira here, and I'll reference those in just a second. So if you guys will send those in while I answer her question, that'd be awesome. Appreciate your help. So Tamira, here's what I would do. If I ever meet somebody that cannot come, I will, and this will also depend on if you are the 5-star or if somebody else is going to do the one-on-one, but make that decision. Who is going to do this one-on-one that I talked about? So speak with this person. Sounds like she's at least already interested in real estate investing. And I would just say, hey, and you know, it almost sound like, hey, I just had something happen that made me think of you. You know, call her up and be like, hey, I just got off the phone with, and if this is somebody else that's doing the one-on-one, you know, the person that's going to do the one-on-one, I just got off the phone with somebody that I really value that's been doing, you know, they've been killing it. And I really want you to introduce you to this person, you know, and in essence, schedule that meeting and be like, yeah, I want you to meet this person that's doing this and doing that. And you know, whatever, edify them like crazy. Schedule that one-on-one with that person. And obviously you got to make sure to talk with this person beforehand. But after you've scheduled the meeting, what you'll want to do, and let me actually go back here to draw this out. Okay. So you schedule the meeting. It's in the calendar. You're like, yep, cool. I'll send you an invite, a calendar invite. Thank you so much. Cool. I'll see you there. Okay. So after you schedule the meeting, you do a little bit of a pullback thing where you say, oh yeah, before we meet, in order to give you a better backstory, and let me show you how, you know, I've been getting my start in this and how this person got their start. Are you cool if I send you, so that's the question, are you okay if I send you a video training? Okay, so step one, schedule the meeting. Step two is pull it back and say, hey, before we meet, are you cool if I send you some video training actually that will, you know, talk about real estate and how a lot of people are getting their start and how people are using other people's money, you know, whatever you feel is going to be intriguing to her. So step one, meeting. Step two, oh, before we meet, can we watch the video? Okay. This is how I've gotten like a 99% show up ratio where people actually watch the training before I meet with them by doing this. Okay. Step one, the prize. Step two, oh, in order to get the prize, you got to watch this video. Okay. I can't reiterate that enough. And just saying, like, make sure that you do it in this order. Okay. Schedule the meeting. Then you have them watch commit to watching the video. Okay. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, of course. So they'll say yes, right? I've never had anybody say no. But they'll be like, yes, actually I could do that. Say, great. It's like an hour, you know, whichever video you choose. And hopefully we got a couple of them in the chat box here. But whichever video you choose, you say, cool, it's like an hour and 30 minutes long, okay? Are you okay if it's an hour and 30 minutes long? You can still finish that before we meet. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, totally, I can meet that. And say, cool. And so now we have 2 yeses. I should say 3 yeses, because they said yes to the meeting. They said yes to the video. They said yes to the time commitment of the video. And then lastly, what I'll say is like, cool. So it will actually be really important that you finish this before we meet, because we'll be able to dive right into a deeper conversation. Instead of trying to do more intro, like we'll actually be able to start talking about how we can make some money in real estate. Okay. And so it'll be important. So for sure, you'll be able to finish that before we meet. And you say, I'll even call you the morning of to make sure, but you know, it won't be an issue, right? You'll be able to watch or finish that video. And then they'll be like, yes. Yep. Yeah, totally. I can do that. Like almost to the point where they're just like, yes, I can do it. Like, okay, great. I will see you there. I will see you at the meeting on Thursday, you know, whatever, you know, the one-on-one. Now this can be in person. This can be, and if you do it in person, you know, try to find like a real estate deal or something like that. I try to do all of my meetings in somebody's real estate deal, whether it's my own or somebody else's real estate deal. And so if I'm doing it in person, then I'm usually sitting in a deal, or I'll do it on Zoom. Because oftentimes if I meet with somebody, you know, from California, for example, then there's no chance that I'm going to be sitting one-on-one with that person in a real estate deal. So this might be over Zoom. This might be in person. At a deal, might be in person at a coffee shop. So person in a deal, coffee shop. Sometimes hotels are actually great places to sit down and meet, because they'll have, you know, little tables or conference rooms that you can just like walk in and act like I'll act like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Act like you're supposed to be there. And you sit down in a hotel. Sometimes libraries will have free conference rooms. I've even done this recently where I'll actually meet at the same place where we run our weekly meetings anyway. And yeah, nobody's going to be there. But if you can get in and it's a decent place to meet, then, you know, that's not a bad place to meet either. Okay. So that's what I do. To reiterate there, step one, schedule the meeting, tell them how valuable it's going to be. Like, hey, I want to introduce you to somebody. Or if you're doing the one-on-one, then you say, hey, I want to talk business. Like, let's talk about how we can make some money in 2020 in real estate. You know, just whoever's doing the one-on-one. And then you pull it back and say, oh, before we meet, can I send you this training? And will you watch it before we meet? Yes? Okay, cool. It's like an hour and 30 minutes. Are you sure you can finish that before we meet? Yes. Okay, cool. So it will actually be important for you to watch this before we meet, because then our conversation can be a lot more valuable. And when we sit down. So for, you know, and I'll follow up with you the morning of, if that's okay. But for sure, you'll be able to watch that before we meet. Yeah. Oh, yes, I can do it. Okay, great. I'll see you there. And then one, you'll have a higher show up ratio anyway, because you sound like you know what you're doing, and you know how to say it. All right, that's the key, is you know how to say it now. So number one, you'll have a higher show up ratio. And number two, they'll watch the freaking video because they committed to it 3 times, and that they realized that it was important to you to watch that. Okay, so I hope that helps. And let me come back over to Zoom here. Great question. Let's see. Cool. Looks like we've got a whole bunch of trainings here. So Tamira, grab those and watch them yourself. Make sure you watch them yourself. Okay. Let's see. Do we have any more? Okay. Next question. How do you get over the feeling or thought that you are going to be bothering someone? Chuck, no. No. You are the prize. In fact, Chuck, if I can recommend a book to you, look up the book Pitch Anything, or look up the book Closer's Survival Guide by Grant Cardone. So Pitch Anything by Oren Klaff, or Closer's Survival Guide by Grant Cardone. Ooh, and lastly, Greatest Salesman in the World. And read those books, because that, my friend, and I'm sorry to say this so bluntly, but that is just an internal voice that is speaking to you that you're bugging people, right? So, and if I can help illustrate this, like imagine, and the best story that I know in Renatus is obviously my own. And so if I share my own story, like imagine if the person who invited me down felt like, oh man, you know, because my wife was 6 months pregnant at the time. So imagine the person that invited me down to see Renatus said, you know what, Daine's actually going to have a kid. I mean, they're having a baby in 3 months. His wife's getting all big, pregnant. This is their first kid. She's working part-time. He's working part-time. You know what? I don't think Renatus is really going to help them because there's no way they're going to be able to, you know. So if this person that invited me down to Renatus had thought that he was bugging me, I would have never been on this call sharing these stories with people, sharing this value. I mean, I would never have built a multi-million-dollar real estate business. I never would have become somebody on the pit team. I would still probably to this day be jumping up on a roof, and it's freaking cold out here. I mean, what's the weather like today? It's 33 degrees outside right now. So right about now, if I would have still been in my same job, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, I would have been at work for the last 2 hours already, roofing in the freaking cold. Oh my gosh. I would wear like 3 coats, 4 sweaters and 3 coats and two to 3 pairs of pants and basically snow boots just because I'm a skinny fella. So I don't have a lot of insulation. So I would freeze to death, and I'd usually wear like snow gloves. And if anybody's ever roofed before, snow gloves and roofing, I mean, that's hard. So it was either freeze my fingers to the bone or wear snow gloves, you know, and I chose to try and do a hybrid of both. But anyway, I think you're getting my point here. Never feel like you are bothering somebody. I call the person who invited me to come and check out Renatus, I don't know, multiple times a year. I know that for a fact. And I say, holy crap, thank you so much for inviting me to come and check this out. Like, I literally call this person just because I have an overwhelming feeling of gratitude that they invited me to come down and check out Renatus. All right, so start changing what you tell yourself when it comes to Renatus. And believe me, they will feel it. Because if you feel like you're bothering people when you talk to them, you're going to bother people. But if you feel like you are reaching out to somebody and you have the best thing since sliced bread to share with them, they're going to feel that inside. And this is why I say, like, you know, you got to start from the top. You got to start with the head, you got to know it. Moving on to the eyes, you got to see it. Like, you got to be able to see it. You got to be able to see that you can make money with this. You got to be able to see that other people are making money with this. And then you got to be able to say it. And when you can say it, after you've already worked on the other two, the know it and the see it, I mean, that's when you're going to start really making some serious cash. Because you know it, you see it, and you can say it. And it becomes written in your heart. I mean, that's the point where it comes from the heart. And it's almost, and I say this very cautiously, it's almost doesn't even matter what you say at that point, because people will feel it. And when people can feel it, who cares what you say? They're gonna jump on board. So great questions. All right, we got just a couple minutes here. Giovanni, hey Dan, quick question. I met with a prospect yesterday at a private property tour, and he started asking me how much I make by him getting started with us. How do you respond to that question? If you have ever gotten, yes, I've been asked that question all the time. So when somebody asks me that, you know, it doesn't happen super often anymore, and I don't know if I could place exactly why, but I think people just know that I'm making money. But when I get that question asked, I say, oh yeah, let me show you how it works. You know, instead of being like, oh man, but you ask that and try to like pull away and be like, I don't want you to feel like I'm no. again, I know I'm gonna prescribe the same thing to you, of being able to know it, see it, and say it, and it comes from the heart. Like when somebody asks me that question, I say, "Oh man, yeah, let me show you how this works actually." And so I'll start drawing on a napkin and basically be like, yeah. So Renatus, the $20,000. So because I started my own company and I have a contract with Renatus. Okay, all of this, everything I'm about to tell you is very true. But again, I just know how to say it. Okay, so very, very true. Renatus costs $20,000. I have a contract with Renatus. In fact, I set up a company, and so my company has a contract with Renatus that I independently market. My company independently markets their product, and so when I help a student get started, and my job is basically to be the guide, because you and I are going to do all the fun stuff together, right? Going through the classes, looking at stuff together, bouncing ideas off of each other, and me helping you go through this process of getting that, and Renatus brings the real estate, the knowledge, the mentoring, all that stuff, okay, the coaching. And so because, both of these things are valuable, we actually just split this, right? And if you're a 5-star, then you'll just say, yeah, we just split this 50-50, right? So you and I get to do all the fun stuff, and then you and Renatus are going to be, working, going from the head down, going from your head to your heart to become a real estate investor, to build your empire, right? And so I almost treat it as though they should feel stupid if they don't like the fact that I'm making money. And believe me, without me even saying those words, by like, oh yeah, do you think I should not get paid? Like, no. Like, don't even go there. Just act so excited that they should feel dumb if they start thinking like, oh man, that's stupid that you get paid if I join this. Well, yeah, the person who handed you your coffee at Starbucks this morning got paid to hand you that Starbucks when you paid for the coffee. Like, this is America, dude. Like, wake up. Yeah. So, and I hope that helps. But essentially, make sure that you know how valuable Renatus is, that you know how valuable you are, and that this is going to be like the best thing since sliced bread. And when you say that, and when you share like what I just exactly shared with you, they're going to feel it. And they'll be like, oh yeah, that's super cool. Like, you can actually make a living doing this? Yeah, absolutely I can. Just like the lady that hands people their coffee in the morning, I can get paid to just deliver this kind of value to people. And then you tell a story and be like, yeah, like we actually helped, like we've got 28,000 students now. And man, like I know a guy that's helped, like if you want to use my numbers, feel free. But I've helped like 220 some odd people get into a real estate deal since I joined Renatus. So just, they are going to feel it inside. So thank you guys so much. This actually was really valuable for a lot of people that stuck around and listened in. And so thank you for asking these questions, because sometimes I would never think to do little trainings like this on these calls. So we didn't even get into what I wanted to chat about, but don't worry, we'll talk about it next week. So thank you all. Thank you so much for posting those videos in there for I think it was Tamira. For Tamira to get access to those. Tamira, I hope you got those. For sending the intro trainings. Watch them yourself so you know what they're getting into. But again, thank you all. Stay classy. I'll see you all next week.